Welcome back to the channel, guys. Today we are talking about Benson Boone and his branding and performance with Brian May of Queen at Coachella. Are you kidding me? I was, as the kids would say, I think, gagged. I don't know. I'm sorry if that's offensive. I genuinely have no idea what gagged means in terms of being excited about something. But I was so excited to see that performance. I've watched it more times than I care to admit, streamed it in the background, like cheering him on the entire time. And something you will notice with Benson Boone is he has people on both extremes. There are very few people with Benson Boone that are kind of fence sitters. Either you love him or you hate him. And that, my friend, is very strong branding. And I just want to break down a couple important pieces of branding because then it helps us understand almost the psychology behind why we like someone and why we don't. And then we can also stop trying to force people to be someone we want them to be rather than just allowing them to be who they are. Using Benson Boone as an example of that, you see in his comments sometimes people say, oh, the hair, the mustache, the outfits, the backflips is just like all too much. I don't like it. Well, good. You're not his target audience. He has built such a strong, resonant brand with the right people that he has not just shot to fame and created a movement and attracted really loyal fans, but he's already singing with Brian May of Queen. Are you kidding me? That is huge. So he's obviously making waves and getting attention of the right people. Another reason that he's getting attention of the right people, or a sign he is his fans are very loyal to him. They understand him, they feel seen by him, and they create an emotional connection with him. A strong brand will repel the wrong people. So, what I see a lot, especially in the YouTube streaming community, is people will say, I get this a lot. Oh, your makeup's too bright. If you'd be better if you did your makeup in a different way. Or, I'd watch you if you got a lint roller. It's so bizarre. Or you talk too long and so I can't, I never finish your content. Or you go on too many side quests, so you're not, if you fixed it, if you took my positive advice on how to build a brand, you would do better or get more streams. But the problem is people that are saying stuff like that, I always giggle to myself because I'm like, actually what you don't realize is you are the exact person my brand is meant to repel. You are the exact person that is not meant to be here. And that's not a slight. That's not saying that some people are better than others. It's not saying that I think I'm better than them. It's just a sign when I get comments like that of, fuck yeah, my brand is working. What I'm building is working because I know what I'm doing with this. When you look back in history, it's not people that blend in or try to appease everyone that, if we're using music as an example, that stands out. We can also look at Emily D. Baker if you want to use the example of a streamer. She's so funny. I love Emily Baker. She'll always say streaming is dynamic as she's having like tech glitches. She goes on all these side quests. She has 10-hour streams. She has verbiage and a brand vocabulary around being a law nerd and a paw nerd and facts not fuckery and all this stuff. And you often see comments of people saying like, stop talking so much. We're just here to watch the streamer. We're just here to watch the court or the documents, et cetera, et cetera. And she says, go find someone else then. People are intentionally building brands. Emily D. Baker, it's not an accident that she has got to the size she has. It's a very intentional brand, right down to her brand colors with the purple hair, et cetera, her glasses. When you think of Emily D. Baker, you think of someone very specific. And she has intentionally built that brand. To tell you guys a story, I first started watching Emily during the Johnny Depp trial at the very beginning. But I stayed because she was always talking about like her ADHD and how she would go on all these side quests and she would talk so much. And she was always having these tech glitches and issues with tech. I was like, I feel so seen by her. That is how you attract a loyal community, is people creating emotional connection. And that's what you want when you're building a brand. I don't care if you're building a brand to be the next It singer performing at the Grammys. If you're building a YouTube brand, it doesn't matter because fads will change. And that happens in every industry. So, for example, people that are just riding the Blake, Ryan, Justin fad right now are going to struggle. And I saw this during the Johnny Depp trial, going to struggle when that's gone. If there's a settlement and it's gone tomorrow, what are you doing with your content? Because you've just built a brand around streaming content from the trial. It's incredibly important that you're building a strong brand that stands out. So Benson Boone does a great job of this. And regardless, like, you don't see Benson Boone reading the comments and being like, oh my gosh, people have said I shouldn't wear these jumpsuits, or people say I should shave my mustache, or people say I should stop flipping. So he stops. No, he goes harder into who he is. He does more of who he is. He's like, perfect. People love me for this. People hate me for this. But the people that love me for this, that's who I am anyway. So I'm going to go harder into that aspect of my brand. And when I first found Benson Boone, I had no idea who he was at all. And I can't remember what jumpsuit he was wearing when I first found him, but he was wearing a jumpsuit, maybe the blue one. I think it was blue. But he was wearing a jumpsuit, and that's what got me to click on his content. Because there was no sound. I had the sound off. No sound. What got me to click was his look. I thought, oh my gosh, he reminds me of Freddie Mercury, to be honest, like that old school vibe. And I just loved that vibe. I thought it was so cool. So I clicked on him. And then after clicking on him, see, and this person says here, every time I see you, I think about Freddie Mercury. And this was 8 weeks ago, long before he sang with Queen's Brian May. That's what got me to click on him. So right away, he was creating a brand just by his look. He was getting people to stop just by his look. So no, he doesn't change based on people commenting on his backflips or based on people commenting on what he chooses to wear. He goes deeper into it, and it's going to piss off the wrong people, but attract the right people. That is a brand. If you feel strongly about someone, either way, they're doing it right. Ultimately, they're doing it right. Now, another person that does this fantastic, and so here he is doing a backflip over Brian May, which is just wild to me. It's so cool. It must have been just surreal for him, especially being so new to the industry, that this is his performance here at Coachella. To have this opportunity had to have been absolutely incredible. So another person that does this really well is Chapelle Roan. Now, unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to play the music or I will get copyright struck. However, the visual here is perfect. When we look at Chapelle Roan in the beginning, same song she was singing, Pink Pony Club, she had the long, like plain, I have brown hair, so this isn't a slight, plain Jane brown hair. Just like it looked like a normal, beautiful girl, beautiful voice singing, and no one's paying attention here. So this is what you see. And then it's going to flip over to her now. And when she had really honed in on her persona, when she had really honed in on who she was. And so that's when you start to see the beautiful, big, red, curly hair. The makeup's very different. Her costumes are very different. She's much more out there. She's more theatrical. She's really pulling people into the performance. She's, yeah, like almost flamboyant in how she moves around the stage. She owns the stage. She's captivating. But we can see it right here. She blew up after she had nailed her persona. Before, like, the end of the day, it's not who has the best voice. If we're looking at music, it's not who has the best information. If we're looking at branding specialists, it's like who has created brands that stand out and get attention. Same with YouTubers. And to use Chapelle Roan as an example in terms of very strong brand, I had heard the song Pink Pony Club previously. I think, everyone technically had heard it. Seems like it was very popular. And I never paid much mind to it until this performance. And she performed at the 67 Grammy Awards. And I'm not going to be able to play the whole song. I'm going to have to mute it because, well, copyright and all. But it was this performance that got me addicted to her and her music. I know you wanted me to stay, but I can't ignore. Like, this is incredible. The persona she created, the makeup, the hair, the outfit, the production of it all captivated me immediately, and I couldn't look away. She is such a great example of someone, again, that has built a bigger brand, and the music is a piece of that world. Taylor Swift is another great example of that. Love her or hate her, she does it very, very well. and her music is a piece of that world. So when I initially saw this video going around, I was like, oh my gosh, who is that? When I saw clips, the reels going around from it. And I, again, had heard the song, but never really paid much mind to it until I saw his performance. And then I was like, are you kidding me? And I've been rocking out to Pink Pony Club ever since. It's so good. But that's what we want to keep in mind is it's emotional resonance. It's not just the persona, but that's what drew me in. And that's often what draws us in is we're visual, especially if you're scrolling. Something visual is usually going to catch your attention first. But then you create emotional resonance with someone. And when I started to pay attention to the words, I was like, oh my gosh, I can relate to so much of what she says here. And so it was like this anthem. Again, Taylor's great at creating anthems that people personally resonate with. Not personally me, but other people do. But it was this anthem that Chapelle Roan was singing about. And if you could emotionally connect with it, you're in. And same way with Benson Boone. His brand emotionally connected with music that I grew up with, Queen, for example, and a time that was like, it's that nostalgia. When I was younger, I mean, I immediately think my dad used to play Queen. Like the CDs that were in the house were Queen CDs. They played on repeat. So when well, there you go. When Benson Boone came out and had a very Freddie Mercury look, it was like instant nostalgia, instant had a click, instant fan, loyal follower. And I started streaming all his stuff. So when we're looking at brands, some things I want you to keep in mind if you are building a brand online is you have to repel people. You have to piss people off. You have not like intentionally being offensive to people. That's not what it's about, but it is about intentionally upsetting people and intentionally separating yourself against others in your niche. You have to. You have to. And from there, it's looking at building out a brand that represents who you are and attracts the right people. Something I say all the time is not all of you is meant to be in your brand. You choose what's meant to be in your brand and you build a brand around it. So next time you are watching a YouTuber streaming music, just take a moment. It's really cool to self-reflect on like what's attracting me to this person. Or if you are someone that tends to leave rude comments on someone's content, expecting them to bend to who you expect or want them to be, take a moment and think, maybe I feel this way because I'm exactly who this person is trying to repel, right? YouTube, a Benson Boone video, before you leave a rude comment about him doing backflips, maybe take a moment and realize you're exactly who he's trying to repel from his brand. You're not his people. It doesn't make you a bad person unless you leave rude ass comments, I suppose, but it doesn't make you a bad person. It doesn't make them a bad person. They just understand branding. Because here's the thing, no matter what, not everyone is going to be pleased with who you are. You're going to divide people regardless. You might as well do it being you rather than trying to be something you're not and then hating yourself because, well, I've tried to be something I'm not and people still bitch about it and people still complain about it and people still don't like me. And I'm telling you right now, it might short term feel like it's worth it to try and appease everyone because then you don't get rude comments and then everyone loves you. It's not long term. It is not long term to bend your brand and how you show up, how you create content, what you sing about, what you record, etc., based on what people are currently telling you that they want you to do. Because you're giving up long-term growth and long-term loyalty and a long-term brand for short-term gain. And either way, people are going to hate you, people are going to judge you, and people are going to have something to say about you. And let me tell you, it hurts. Like I said, it hurts that much more when you break yourself in half trying to appease people and people still have shit to say than if you're just who you are and people have shit to say. All right. So everyone go off today. If you're building a brand, take a page from the notes of Chapelle Roan and Benson Boone and be you. Lean harder into it rather than bend and break when people have things to say. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye, guys.